All right, I think we are set.
Okay.
All right, we are here with Web Chat with the Mayor for the week of October 17th. City Council coming up on Thursday night. A fairly light agenda, Pat. Mostly planning issues to deal with for City Council, including an interesting debate over infill versus, spreading out into, what would be suburban areas of Woodstock, and looking at some an infill debate on Thursday night.
It brings home this whole debate about infill. The provincial policy has a statement that they'd like municipalities to grow up and not out. Yeah. And a lot of people think, well, that's a Metro Toronto issue, but around Woodstock, Oxford County, I mean, every bucket of soil is pretty well the best agricultural soil in the province. So there's an infill project that's a deep one. It's off of Arthur Street, borders on Houston, where you see the apartments at the back. But this is one where the lot will be subdivided. The lot is a deep lot. And so the existing house will stay, and there'll be kind of a wide driveway going to the back and 4 units put in at the back for apartments. Planning is approving this because they feel it's the lot is such shape and size that the 4 units will fit in there rather nicely, and it will still provide sufficient amenity area for those that will be living in the apartments. But because of the situation of the apartment, it's not going to impact on the backyards and the amenity areas of the neighbors. And so in this particular part of town, we have different size lots, different size houses. We have high rises, and so this particular project fits in rather nicely. And so it's just an example of how municipalities have to be very conscious of, again, infill, taking advantage of existing streets, infrastructure, and building upon that without really impacting on the existing neighbors. So infill is interesting, and this is a project that works. But again, it goes back to the basic principle that cities have to start, even Woodstock, growing up as opposed to going out.
Is that something we need to see more of in Woodstock? I mean, most of the planning that we hear about is, the northeast and, in the periphery of the city.
There's when the province came out with their plan, they had hoped that a city like Woodstock, I think the number was they were hoping that 40% of our future growth would be on infill. And but when you go around town and look, there's very few places where you can do infill. Yeah. And certainly builders are looking at that. And in this particular case, they took a look and they said, well, if we knock down this garage and go in the backyard, we can do this. So if the province puts more pressure on us, I guess we'll be more creative in finding infill where we can do interior infill. So the province would certainly like us to do more, and we'll see how we progress that way. But even Woodstock, I mean, we're seeing the Senator Home development on the other side of the dam, and so we're guilty of growing out too. So we'd like to see more infill, but I don't know if there's room to meet those. If the city grows to 50,000, I don't think most of that would be found internally. Yeah,
no, for sure. Microtel wants to put up a rather large sign, probably an issue with neighbors in that area of town, and what's being recommended this week at council.
Well, Microtel built in 2007, they built their hotel just off of Norwich Ave. And at the time it was approved, there was concern for the residents that lived in that Lindsay Road area. And in the site plan, the staff decided to keep a berm there to kind of hide the motel complex. And there was nothing in that site plan that talked about a large sign. Now they're coming back saying we'd like to have a large sign because it's becoming far more competitive in that industry. So we can understand that. They want a sign that can be seen from the 401 and from Norwich Ave. So they would like to erect a sign that's some 36 feet tall. And so it'll be up there. And staff is concerned that the light, etc., from that sign would impact on the neighbors. And because the neighbors had expressed a concern 4 years ago, staff is of the opinion the neighbors would express the same concern. So staff is recommending that it not go in that location, that if they want to put a sign up, put it up at the south end of their property. They would like to keep it where it is. So staff has said we're not recommending it, but we're moving the decision to a higher level. And that higher level happens to be City Council. and therefore it brings it out to more of a public debate. So it's another interesting one. We had, again, when it was built, you had the concerns of the residents, and I think we can all understand the concerns of the of a business wanting to be viable and be seen. So council will have to make a decision on two conflicting principles as to which one wins out.
All right, and we'll be watching Thursday night to see how those two debates play out. Thanks again, Pat.
Thank you.